Today we're doing math pages 157 and 158. We'll be estimating divisors. Proverbs 23:12 says, "Apply thine heart unto instruction, and thine ears to the words of knowledge." And we'll go ahead and start at class practice number 1A. And our directions are to divide and check. Now let's look at this. 23, it does not go into 1, so we'll put our X there. 23 does not go into 15, so we'll put another X. 23 does go into 157, and we need to figure out how many times. We'll be using our dad, divide, mom, multiply, sister, subtract, brother, bring down, and rover, repeat or remainder steps. So first one, we got to divide our 23 into 157. Let's cover up our last numbers. So we'll cover up our 3, cover up our 7. Don't cross them out like I did, but use your fingers or just imagine that they're not there. And ask yourself, how many times is 15 divisible by 2? 2 goes into 15 7 times, so we'll try 7. Remember, it might be right, it might be wrong, but it will be close. And here when we do 7 times 23, it's going to be too much, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's going to be 6. We'd find that it'd be too much, and we'll try 6. I have to work it out on the side for me to know it. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 more is 13. So we get 138. So we did our dad step, we did our mom step, divide, multiply. Now it's time for our sister step of subtract. 7 minus 8 we can't do, we have to borrow from the 5. We've borrowed 1. Now 17 minus 8 we can do, that's 9. 4 minus 3 is 1. And 1 minus 1 is 0. And so we have 19, which sounds like a big remainder. But as long as that is smaller than this, we're good, and it is. So we have 6, remainder 19. The directions told us to divide and check. Let's go ahead and check it now. 23 times 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Carry the 1. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 1 more is 13, just like we got over there. Now we need to add our remainder of 19. 8 plus 9 is 17. Carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 1 more is 5. And we just bring this 1 down. Since this number is the same as that, it checks. And our answer is 6, remainder 19. We'll look at B. 98, it does not go into 4. It does not go into 43. But it does go into 437. So we know our first number is going to be above the 7 there. Now here's where the lesson is different today. 98, what is that close to? What number is it very close to? Well, it's close to 97, it's close to 99, but let's put it closer rounding here. 98 is close to 100. Now for estimating, I want you to imagine that it's a 100 right here. And ask ourselves, how many times does 100 go into 437? And we could cover up our last numbers and ask ourselves now, how many times does 10 go into 43? 10 goes into 43 4 times. So we're going to try a 4 here. Remember, it might be right, it might be wrong, but it will be close. I have to do 98 times 4 on the side. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 3 more is 39. So we get 392. We'll go ahead and subtract now. 7 minus 2 is 5. 3 minus 9 we can't do. We need to borrow. 13 minus 9 we can do. And we get 4. 3 minus 3 is 0. So we get a 45, which again is a big remainder, but as long as it's smaller than that, we are good. So our answer appears to be 4 remainder 45. We need to go ahead and check it though. Let's take our 98 times 4 and then add our remainder of 45. 98 times 4, 4 times 8 is 32. Carry the 3. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 3 more would be 39. Let's add our remainder. 2 plus 5 is 7. 9 plus 4 is 13. And 3 plus 1 is 4. So we get 437, which is the same as that. So this checks, and our answer is 4 remainder 45. C. 41 does not go into 1. It does not go into 18. But it does go in 185. So our first number is going to be above the 5. Let's see. Let's cover up our last numbers that we're using, our 1 and our 5, and ask ourselves, how many times does 4 go into 18? 4 goes into 18 4 times. So we'll do 41 times 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. We get 164. We'll subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. 8 minus 6 is 2. 1 minus 1 would be nothing. So we have 21, which is smaller than that, so we're good. And now we need to go to our brother step of bring down. We'll bring down the 3. And now we got to figure out how many times does 213 divided by 41. How many times 41 goes into 213? Again, we can cover up our last numbers and ask ourselves now, how many times does 4 go into 21? 4 times 5 is 20. So that's going to be closest. Remember, it might be right, it might be wrong, but it will be close. So I'm going to multiply 41 times 5. And I get 205. Looks like this is going to work. We need to subtract. 3 minus 5 we can't do, so we have to borrow. 13 minus 5 we can do, and we get 8. And our answer appears to be 45 remainder 8, but we got to check it. So let's do 45 times 41. 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 4 is 4. Now we'll look at our tens. We'll put a 0 there. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 more would be 18. We can now subtract. 5 minus 0 is 5, 4 minus 0 is... Oh, I don't know why I'm subtracting. We need to go back. We can now add. 5 plus 0 is 5, 4 plus 0 is 4, 8, 1. Now that number is not the same. Oh yeah, but I forgot to add my remainder. And when I add it up, it ends up being the correct answer. So this checks, and our answer is 45 remainder 8. D. 37 does not go into 1. 37 does not go into 16, but 37 does go into 168. Now 37 is awfully close to 40, and so rather than covering up this number and saying how many times does 3 go into 16, we're going to imagine for a moment that this is 40 and cover up our last numbers and ask ourselves how many times does 4 go into 16. 4 goes into 16 4 times. Now again, remember, this might be right, it might be wrong, but it will be close. We're going to try this. 37 times 4. 4 times 7 is 28. Carry the 2. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 more is 14. And it looks like this is going to work. We have to subtract to see. 8 minus 8 is 0. 6 minus 4 is 2. And 1 minus 1 is nothing. So, as long as this is smaller than this, and it is, 20 is less than 37, we're good. So we have 4 remainder 20. Let's check it. We'll do our 37 times 4. Four times 7 is 28. Carry the 2. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 2 more would be 14. We need to add our remainder of 20. And we get 168. Since that's the same as that, this checks, and our answer of 4 remainder 20 is correct. E. 26 does not go into 6, but it does go into 61, so our first number will be right there. Covering up our last numbers, we'll ask ourselves, how many times does 2 go into 6? But let's back up for a minute. 26 is kind of closer to 30. Let's imagine that it's a 30 and cover up our last numbers. How many times does 3 go into 6? How many times does 3 go into 6? And we're just estimating. And even if you didn't do this, you might come close and you might have to change it. Remember, it might be right, it might be wrong, but it will be close. 3 goes into 6 2 times. And we're going to try that for this one. Now we need to do 26 times 2. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. And we get 52. We're going to go ahead and subtract. We have to borrow from the 6 here in order to subtract. Leave it as 5. 11 minus 2 is 9. 5 minus 5 is nothing. So that worked. Let's bring down the 5. How many times does 26 go into 95? Covering up our last numbers, and let's imagine this to be a 30 again. Covering up our last numbers. How many times does 3 go into 9? It might be right, it might be wrong, it will be close. 3 goes into 9 3 times. So we'll try that. Now we don't do 3 times 9, but now we'll do 3 times 26. 26 times 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 1 more is 7. And we get 78. Which looks like that's going to work. 5 minus 8 we can't do. We got to borrow. 15 minus 8 we can do. It leaves us with 7. 8 minus 7 would be 1. And we get 17, which is less than 26. So that can be our remainder here. And we need to check it. 23 times 26. We'll do our one spray first. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 more is 13. Let's put a 0. 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 times 2 is 4. We'll add 8 plus 0 is 8, 3 plus 6 is 9, 1 plus 4 is 5. Now let's add our remainder to our answer here. 8 plus 7 would be 15, so we'll carry a 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 1 more would be 11. And 1 plus 5 is 6, so we get 615, which is the same as that. So this checks, and our answer is 23, remainder 17. F. 38 does not go into 7, but it does go into 79, so our first number will be above the 9. 38 is very close to 40, so we're going to imagine that we're working with a 40 here. Let's cover up our last numbers. How many times does 4 go into 7? 4 goes into 7 one time. Now remember, it might be right, it might be wrong, but it will be close. When we try 38 times 1, when we try 38 times 1, it'd be 38. We subtract 9 minus 8 is 1. 7 minus 3 is 4. And look, this number is too much. So 1 is not going to be the correct answer. 41 is bigger than the 38, so we need to try a different number. Remember, it might be right, it might be wrong, but it will be close. Well, instead of 1, what's close to it? Let's try 2. 38 times 2. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. And this looks like it's going to be a lot better. We get 76. Subtract, you get 3. This is smaller than that, so we're good. Bring down the 8. And look at this, we got 38. How many times does 38 go into 38? Well, one time. Goes in evenly. We can subtract. We're left with 1. 21, remainder 1. Let's go ahead and check it. 38 times 21. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3. Put a 0. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 3 is 6. Plus 1 more is 7. Let's add these up. We get 8, 9, 7. And then I got to add my remainder of 1. Now I'm seeing I've done something wrong here. And many of you have already caught on. Because when I have this answer, it doesn't match up. So I got to go back and figure out what I did wrong. And I see what I did wrong here. 38 minus 38, that's not 1. So we need to take away our remainder of 1. And it's actually going to be 21 without a remainder. 21 even. Just testing you. Just testing you to see if you knew it. Okay, we're going to look at number 2 now. Number 2 is asking us to give 2 answers. It says to write the estimated answer in the blank, and then to work out the problem for the exact answer. Okay, we get $9.99 times 6. Well, $9.99, that's close to, and I'm going to write it on the side. That's close to $10. $10 times 6, 10 times 6 would give us $60. And we'll put the estimated answer here. And now we got to work out the exact answer. We'll do the spray with 6 here. 6 times 9 is 54. Carry the 5. 6 times 9 is 54 again, but now we need to add 5, so we get 59. 6 times 9 is 54 again, but add the 5 again and we get 59. Since our decimal is 1 2 places over, we need to put it 2 places over in our answer. Put the dollar sign. And now we've worked out our exact answer right here and our estimated answer right here. Okay, $1.98, that's really close to $2. So for the estimated answer, 4 times $2, that'd be $8. We have our estimated answer. Let's figure out our exact answer now. 4 times 8 would be 32. 4 times 9 would be 36, plus 3 more would be 40. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 4 more would be 8. Oops. It'll actually be 39. Now 4 times 1 would be 4, plus 3 more would be 7. Our decimal is 2 places over, so we'll go 2 places over for our decimal here. And we get $7.92. C. Alright, 3 times, we're going to estimate it. 3 times instead of $6, 1 cent, let's do 3 times $6. It'd be $18. 3 times 6 is 18. Now let's figure out the exact answer. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 6 is 18. Since our decimal is 2 places over, we'll go 2 places over and drop it in right there. And we got to put a dollar sign. D. $3.99, that's close to $4. So we'll do 5 times $4 for our estimated answer. 5 times 4 would be 20, so we're left with $20. Now let's figure out our exact answer. 5 times 9 is 45. Carry the 4. 5 times 9 again, 45 plus 4 more, 49. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 4 more would be 19. Alright, and we're going to put our decimal here because it's 2 places over. And the dollar sign there. And we have our estimated answer and our exact answer. I'm going to go ahead and have you guys do the rest on your own. Before you do, I want you to know something that's interesting. This should help you to finish the page. If you take an average lead pencil, regular pencil, and you draw a line, and you were to just keep drawing, and let's say you had a paper that never ended, or maybe if you did it on some kind of flat surface that was very long. Now the average pencil, like this pencil in the picture, it looks like a pencil you might have. If you were to continue to draw, let's imagine that it sharpened itself too, or if you stopped to sharpen it and then go back on the line. That line would end up being 35 miles long. 35 miles long. So if you were drawing this line and you just kept going and going and going and going, it would end up being 35 miles long. So you could end up drawing a line from here to, I don't know how far it is to Kihei, but something like that, very far, with one pencil. And that would be about, if you were writing a whole bunch of words, it'd be about writing 50,000 words with one pencil. Imagine if I told you guys, okay, you guys gotta write some paragraphs, and I want you to keep going until you run out of lead. That would mean you'd end up writing 50,000 words. That is, if you didn't break your lead and throw it away and resharpen it every time. I bet you guys would probably do that. You'd on purpose break your lead so you could just run out of pencil quicker. Here's something kind of crazy. Look at this. This is, I forgot what it's called, but it's like a wall on both sides. I think it's called Bubblegum Alley or Bubble Row or something. Anyways, people go here and they take their bubblegum and they put it on the wall. Looks pretty gross, doesn't it? So this wall's full of bubblegum, and so is this one over here. What do you think? Is that gross? Would you go there? Raise your hand if you would go there and you'd touch the wall. And now raise your hand if you would never want to go there. It's too gross for you. I don't know what I'd do. I think it'd be pretty fun to see, but I wouldn't want to touch it. Maybe it'd be fun to stick one piece on there so I could say I was one of the people that put bubblegum there. Something that's interesting about bubblegum, one of the ingredients inside bubblegum is rubber. Go ahead and do the rest on your own.